This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 347 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, 2K Gray, Kentucky Performance Products, and Bed in a Box. Today on the show, we have Aiden Uhler and JJ Tate on to talk about the USDF FEI Trainers Conference. Cassandra Hummert will come on to tell us about the USDF Graduate Young Riders Program, and we will have JJ Tate back for the Total Saddle Fit Tip of the Week.
This is Reese Koffler-Stanfield from Loxahatchee, Florida.
And this is Philip Parks from Loxahatchee, Florida also, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show with our producer, Glenn. He's here today.
Wow, Philip's in Florida. It's like -4 in Canada, Fahrenheit. And he's down there soaking up the sun on the beach.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm enjoying it. It's not about making other people jealous. So that's
no,
No,
we're
because
working hard. There's been no beach.
Because as this is coming out, they're predicted to have a blizzard up in the Northeast, and
no.
and they all don't want to hear this.
Yeah. Everybody batten down the hatches. We are thinking of you. Seriously, we hate it. We want everybody to be in the same weather.
Did you hear what Lexington is supposed to get? Now, we're recording this Thursday night. It hits tomorrow. They're supposed to get 15 inches of snow with 40-mile-an-hour winds. Your barn is going to be covered over.
You know, I'm a little concerned, and we'll see how Travis does, because Travis will be at the farm, and we'll see, because
does he own a snow shovel?
He does.
Okay.
He's very good at using the tractor, so he can do that, but he may very well have to do a stall. I'm just saying.
Oh no!
It may happen, so I've got to
like
make sure
clean poop.
He may, yeah.
Travis, if you're listening to this, let me give you a tip. Having been in a barn in Pennsylvania when it snows a lot and you couldn't get outside the stalls, you just pile all the poop in the corner till your wife gets home.
That may be what happened.
You just throw it in the corner of the stall. The one year we were snowed in we had a blizzard, and it was like 9-foot drifts. We could not take the poop out at all. The poop actually reached the ceiling in the corner till we could get it out.
Oh my God! Well, you know, we're going to have to kind of talk about that tonight. Like, well, what do we do? Yeah, if the girls can't get there. So we'll make sure he knows how to, hey, if the horses have hay and water and, a little bit of grain, they'll be okay.
I'll call him and give him the tips for the horse husband tips.
The
things you're allowed to get away with and your wife isn't looking. I will call him.
Hey, as long as the horses have hay and water, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
I want to explain something before we get on. We have a lot of guests to get to, so we'll get right to the show. But tonight's sound was a little challenging. Philip sounds hollow and kind of I don't know what. Yeah, because he's actually on some kind of tablet, and he's 2 rooms over from Reese, and we can't get him on the same mic, so he's not on a mic at all. He's just coming through his tablet. That's why he sounds hollow. Yeah, tricky week. And all the guests have been tricky with their cell phones, especially you'll have to forgive JJ Tate. She must have bought her phone at the used pawn shop because it was challenging to say the least. And you guys, for some reason, for the wealthiest county in Florida, you have horrible cell service in Wellington.
Oh, I don't. My phone doesn't even work in my house, so we apologize.
I don't get it. You guys should have the best cell service of anywhere in the state.
Crazy. It's crazy.
But,
it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's fun, and it's super fun to have Philip here. He has been here at the barn with us all week, which is great, and USDF was fantastic, and we went to the USDF Trainers Conference with Yo Hinneman, which was kind of what the show is sort of dedicated to, the programs. It was a really busy week for USDF down here.
It was a great conference, yeah.
Yep.
Can you give people an idea of what happened at the conference? What happens?
Yeah, so this conference particularly was for FEI trainers, and we've kind of talked about it in the last couple of weeks, but you need to have some criteria to go to this conference, so which is fun because it's really meant to be for trainers. So that's what it's geared to, and how do we as a trainer group teach our riders better? So that's really
for the most part, it's pretty much a clinic format, but a lot of the discussion is more for the people watching than the rider, and just trying to get explanations, and then the auditors can ask questions. There's question and answer periods in which you can sort of address something that you saw that you want to explain better. So it's really good that way. And then they have some demo riders, which are really some of the most accomplished riders that we've seen. It's great because they're all sort of down here in Florida. So the riders ride, the teacher teach, and then there's some discussion and question and answer, and it was fantastic. It was a great experience.
And then also, Philip and I on Wednesday went to an even more select group, which is just for USDF certified instructors. And Philip was my guest, which was great. And that was just a morning from 9 to 12 at Shelley Francis's farm here in White Fences. And so we really got to see, and she was very, very kind and answered questions about what her system is about and how she rides her horses and trains her students. And I think, for instructors, you learn so much by going to someone else's facility and seeing, how they do things. So that was another group. So we've had literally, 2.5 days of conferences, which has been really
just
fun.
Learning, trying to cram it all in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're going to get to our first guest here, but first we have to hear from 2K Gray. I have a question for Philip. Your wife looks so good in her 2K Gray breeches. Do you let her wear them when you're not there?
What?
Yeah, I never worry about my wife going to the barn. There's not too many guys hanging around there checking out her 2K Gray breeches. So.
But they're so nice. She can be wearing them to the grocery store and the produce aisle, and you never know who's looking there. So,
oh my gosh!
As long as she's not going out a night on the town while I'm gone, and wearing those breeches, then I think I'm going to be fine.
All right. Well, let's hear all about them.
"2K Gray's mission is to honor a woman's adventurous spirit by creating apparel that offers comfort while riding, plus style when you're not. In 2011, Grand Prix rider and entrepreneur Chris Pinto joined forces with fashion industry veteran Meryl Ranzer to create a chic and sophisticated line of performance riding breeches that look and feel better than your favorite pair of jeans. The line, made for women by women, is now being expanded and refined by teaming up with global equine manufacturer and distributor Intrepid International and notable fashion designer Kia Tomlin. 2K Gray offers serious riding clothes that are sturdy in the saddle, yet slimming, stunning, and sophisticated everywhere else. Each detail, from pocket shape to seam placement, is designed to enhance a woman's silhouette and to celebrate different body types. The collection is machine washable and proudly designed in the USA. Check out the new and exciting designs at 2kgray.com. That's the number 2, the letter K, GREY.com. You can also follow them on Facebook at 2K Gray. Feel better and ride better. 2K Gray.
Well, now we're going to have Aiden Uhler to talk about her experience at the USDF FEI Trainers Conference. Well, this evening, I am so happy to have our friend Aiden Uhler back on the program. Aiden, how are you today?
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we always love catching up with you and see what you're up to. And I definitely have seen you a lot down here. You're down here in Wellington, Florida, working on the Brentina Cup, right?
That is correct.
And you're working for an amazing person. Who are you working for?
I'm currently working for Christine Traurig, and we are stationed at Palm Beach Equine Sports Complex. And it's wonderful, though. We're planning on staying most of the season, depending on the weather, and back home in California, if it's cooperating with us.
Yeah, I think most of the country is probably getting hit with a huge snowstorm. So it's going to storm here tomorrow, but we're running around in T-shirts, so people don't like to hear us talk about the weather.
I know.
People get a little cranky. Well, Aiden, you did such a fantastic job this week at the USDF Trainers Conference with Yo Hinneman, and we wanted to catch up with you because you did such a fantastic demo of sort of doing the Brentina Cup, which is the U25 under 25 Grand Prix. So we wanted to catch up with you and how Shapur is doing and what you thought of the conference.
Well, I thought it was a really good experience for Shapur and I. As you know, I trained with Christine, and she is a former student of Johannemann. So a lot of the stuff that we were working on at the conference were things that Christine and I have been working on, which is really great because it solidifies everything we've been doing, and it's reiterating that we're on the right track and everything. And I was really happy with Shapur and working with the Piaffe and Passage because he has really just recently picked up the Passage in the last, I want to say like 6-7 months. And he didn't have one at Young Riders or anything. And we didn't really think that he was going to be able to do the Grand Prix movements. But we've been working super hard, and Christine has been amazing. And everybody along the way has been helping us to get to this point. And, Shapur, of course, Shapur is the major part. And he has such a big heart and is trying his hardest to get all these Grand Prix movements and doing them well.
He is doing such a good job. And so are you. This is your first horse that you've trained to this level, right?
I know it is. I'm just amazed.
It's fantastic. So tell us some of the things that you've been working on with Christine that you worked on also in the trainers conference.
Well, in the trainers conference, Yo had me work a lot on the accuracy of my movements, because that is something that I do lack, is going from point A to point B and really riding in between, like how I did. He had me do my extended canter several times because I went starting in my extended canter, and then I brought him back, and then I was on the line going straight, and then I did my flying change versus how you're doing flying change on the diagonal, because that's where technically the movement is supposed to be. And also doing my canter pirouettes, making sure that I get like 6 to 7 strides instead of making it like an 8 stride canter pirouette, and getting the shoulders around and not just putting the haunches in and spinning around, and it makes it such a big circle. But that's a lot of the stuff that we've been working on at home as well.
Yeah, and he really was a stickler. That was what was really cool and refreshing, and a good reminder for all of us sitting in the seats. And he was so particular about the points. One particular trainer actually had to do like a 10-minute lesson on a 20-meter circle, which I'm sure she didn't like, but it was a really good reminder of, if your trainer says ride a 20-meter circle, ride a 20-meter circle.
Ride a 20-meter circle.
Yeah, or if he says be on the center line, you have to be on the center line. So
my God, yes. Yeah. I did my center line so many times.
You did. Yeah, there were a lot of center lines.
I forgot about that, but I was going up center line, and then I would be like off to the left a little bit, and then I do it again, and be off to the right a little bit, overcorrecting. And she's like, "Where are you?" She's like, she saw X coming from a long ways away, and she still missed it.
That was kind of cute moment for sure.
It was really funny.
Yeah, that was a super cute moment. But it's true, though. I mean, I think that was a huge reminder for all of us. And then also you talked about your Piaffe and Passage. So Shapur and you are green the Passage and in the Piaffe.
Very green.
Yeah, but looking great. I mean, really, really looking good. So what were some things that you guys really focused on in the Piaffe and Passage?
With Shapur, what I have to focus on is getting him to like be up out in the neck and starting that way. And when I'm doing the Piaffe, when I'm starting, don't have him down low and falling down to the ground, because then he's just going to be like stomping his feet really, really quick and everything. And there's not going to be much cadence to it. But so then both Yo and Christine have said that I need to get him up out and then light with the hands. And that's something that Yo says was think of rein back to keep him more on the spot, but it's not like in a way of like go backwards. It's like that feeling you get in your hands when you're going to do a rein back, and having him on the spot and being able to do the Piaffe more with more cadence and everything instead of just stomping around.
Right. Yeah, no, which is great. And then your Piaffe was absolutely fantastic at the end. It was really quite good. Really good.
Thank you.
So what are some, big takeaways that you're taking away from your time at the trainers conference?
Some big takeaways, I think, is definitely the accuracy, because I'm losing points, and that's just me kind of being kind of careless about it. And then I really need to know my test so extremely well and ride letter to letter and be focused on that, because then if I get those like little, go into the corners deep and be straight on my lines and everything, then I don't have to focus on like the really super hard movements as much, because I have not been losing any points carelessly.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good, super takeaway from the whole experience. Well, Aiden, so what does the rest of your season look like?
All the rest of my season, I'm planning on doing some I2 Brantina Cup tests. I think we're doing a national show, not this weekend, but next weekend at Global. And most of the time, it's just me with Christine and Corey, and we're working really hard and for the rest of the season, and having, of course, a big social life, which I'm not really used to because there's so much stuff going on here.
Yeah, I know tonight literally that is one of the challenges of Wellington is you really have to sort of balance that. There's things that go on every night all the time. So it's a lot of fun. But there's sometimes you really have to say it's school night and we really can't go out. So
that's why we've decided as a team to do Pajama Thursdays. So now we locked our doors now. We're inside and we're not going anywhere, and we're going to watch some TV and just meditate and go to bed early.
I like it. I think we probably have to do that here over at our house.
Everybody should have a pajama Thursday.
I like it. Well, Aiden, thank you so much for your time. As always, we love having you on the show, and we look forward to
being here,
catching up with you as the time goes on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
He was her first love, the one that started it all. He taught her how to master the posting trot and navigate her first hunter course. They spent hours together exploring the trails and hanging out in the barn. His name was doodled on every page in her school notebook. His coat gleamed in the sun as he met her at the gate each day, snuffling for a treat. From the first time she saw him poking his head out of the stall to the last time she patted him goodbye, he was, and always will be, her everything. This love story is brought to you by Nalox Advanced, providing complete support for a healthy digestive tract, which reduces the risk of colic and digestive upset. The horse that matters to you matters to Kentucky Performance Products. Call 859-873-2974 or visit kppusa.com to order today.
Well, it was so fun to hear about Aiden's experience, and now I hope you enjoy hearing about JJ Tate's experience riding with Jo Hinneman in the USDF FEI Trainers Conference. Well, tonight we are so happy to have our friend and fellow rider JJ Tate on the program. JJ, how are you?
I am great. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Well, we are doing today a wrap-up of the USDF FEI Trainers Conference, and you had such a fantastic ride both days.
I had a terrific experience. I brought a coming 8-year-old, mostly Connemara pony. I think there's a tiny little bit of Canadian warm blood in there. Go, Philip.
Yes.
Represent.
And he's representing. He's 15-2, but we call him a pony. We call him a super pony because he's pony by breed, but not necessarily by size. But I wasn't sure, what Johan Hinneman would think about me bringing a Connemara pony, but he moves like a horse, and he is owned and bred by Pam Liddell of Kininmont Connemaras, and I've been showing him for, I think, a little bit over a year now, and he's just become a really, really special horse in my program, and I was just really delighted that I was selected to be a rider, and it was really a terrific experience, really great.
He's accomplished a lot this year, has he not?
He did. He won the 4th level at Devon. He went on to win regionals at 4th level, Region 1, 4th level, and then he went on to be 3rd at the U.S. finals at 4th level, and then scored a 68%. He had a wild card also at the Pre-St. George at the finals. So he has just been fantastic this year, and we're excited to go for the Developing Young Horse Championships this summer. And see how the rest of it goes.
Awesome. That's so fun. So tell us, what were some of your highlights from this week?
It was really fun. We ride a little bit on Sunday afternoons with Yo, just to get him to introduce the horses, and so he can decide what he wants to work on. And my pony, my horse, he has really big movement, but sometimes he can get a little bit braced through the pole and a little bit tight in the back, and then not have enough hind leg coming underneath. And so we really worked on some really great exercises of continuing to focus on the activity of the hind leg and keeping him, with transitions within the gait, really active, and then sitting down, and then active again, forward and sitting down. So we did some really great, like haunches in at the canter to develop a little bit better sitting in the pirouettes. And from there, we would go back and forth from collected walk with the haunches in and then back to canter. And he really wanted a lot of bending behind the saddle, keeping the horse really uphill and tall in the shoulders and tall in the neck. So that was a huge help, and I really felt that every day that got much, much better. And Gideon definitely got a better understanding of what I want from him in the pirouettes. So that was really, when I finally did make the pirouette kind of small, he really had no problem. So that was really fun to develop that. For me as a rider, I thought it was really fun. You ride so much, a lot of horses, you show a lot, so you kind of like have the way that you do things. And for me, it was really fun to ride the half passes in a little bit different way. And he really made me really, and I say this to my riders too, like the most important thing about lateral work is find your line. Whatever line you're going to ride on, like commit to it, know where it is. But what Yo really helped me with was really turning the horse front end, forehead, sternum, everything, like turn him first on the line. And then instead of thinking anything about the bend being in the neck, he really had me bend the horse really a lot behind the saddle. And it was really cool to see how Gideon was able to keep his beautiful uphill swinging trot. And I think by the end we were doing like half passes almost from the Grand Prix. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And he was really able, he's never done them that hard before. And it was really fun to feel how much focus, to really keep the whole front of the horse, like all the part that was in front of the saddle, to keep that truly going to the line that I chose. And then just bringing the horse's hind legs around. That was a really fun exercise. And I felt every single time how much more up in front of my inside leg Gideon stayed. And so then how much better balanced the half pass. And so the expression was good and the balance was good. And then it definitely had enough bending because I clearly got to the letter I was aiming for. So that was, for me as a rider, like, wow, that was a really different kind of new sensation and sort of experience, which I really thought was neat.
I really felt like that was sort of a theme of many of the horses that were there over the 2 days, is sort of, improving the half pass and the expression in the half pass. And you could see how when you rode it, just how you described, that the horses were less likely to collapse on their inside front leg, and they all sort of got more expressive and really showed off the trot in the half passes. So I thought that was for me, one of the best tips and takeaways is, he had everybody really ride that half pass really forward, but with a high degree of bend, like you said, in behind the saddle. So I think that can help a lot of horses.
Yeah, it really changed, and I'm really delighted that I was able to actually like feel it from the saddle, but it was absolutely a totally different feeling. I've had a lot of lessons with a lot of great people, and it's like, oh, keep the horse, up in front of your inside leg, and you can use that leg to bring more swing and expression to the trot. But I didn't feel like I lost any of that when I truly could just turn the horse on the line. Like I didn't have to fight for it to keep the expression there. It was just automatically that front half of the horse was still truly like just really going forward. So that was a huge impression and something really, really cool for me to experience.
Yeah, and it was really cool for us. Philip and I happened to be sitting sort of on the short side, and it was so cool because we could really see as you developed it. It was like, oh my gosh, and then you could see sort of your light bulb went on, and then Gideon's light bulb went on. It was really cool to see. You know, it was like, wow. You know, it's fun to sit at a conference and see that. Do you had any other takeaways from the weekend, from Monday and Tuesday?
I thought, yeah. I mean, a couple of things. I thought what was also really great was, here's this great man who's trained a lot of fantastic people, and just like hear him talk about how he, in the collected walk, keeps the horse really thinking forward. And I've sort of like found myself kind of accidentally doing this. And I thought, well, I don't know if it's right or not, but it's working, so I'm just going to keep doing it. So he was right. Like, oh, it seems right. I don't know what someone's going to say about it, but I feel like maybe it's okay. About not really, and in our barn, on my team, we call it the Bundeschampionat canter depart, where it's like, I feel like so many times everybody shortens the reins too much in collected walk and is like getting ready to get ready to collected canter. And by that time, the horse is crooked, he's against the bridle, and then you
behind
sort of start like, totally. Yeah. And then it's like, then it's not a good depart. And I thought that was really fun for him, to really talk about like, shorten the reins halfway, pick up the canter, and then shorten the reins the rest of the way. Because the horse should never lose that desire to keep taking you somewhere, even in the collected walk. And I thought, God, that's really cool that those are words that kind of went along with my feeling that, otherwise you're then dealing with so many symptoms of, well, I collected the horse too much and now it's behind me and it's crooked. Now, I get a 6 on that canter depart in the pre-St. George because the haunches came in. This is just like, go forward through a tunnel, be in front of me, and then I'll, hind leg to the bit, then I'll sort of shape your body once you're committed to going forward. And I thought that was, for Gideon, he's really eager, and he wants to, he either wants to try to piaffe, or he wants to get all excited that we're going to canter, so I got all this kind of like emotion going on in the collected walk. And he, as a pony, like I need to get every single point as great as I can because he's going against like super fancy, incredible moving warm blood. So for me, that was kind of a cool tip also, to just keep him having his best walk possible, and just having this like beautiful forward expression that then you can kind of gather up once you get into the canter. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I saw and was a big theme is that really picky about the canter transitions. I mean, he said it very quite a few times about that being one of the most important qualities is, riding in your warm up, trot to canter and making sure the horse jumps underneath and goes forward. And then and then doing the walk to canter, like you said, and just making sure the horse is going to bring that hind leg and then figuring out the canter once you're in it a little bit. As long as the horse is going forward, you can shape it and mold it and do what you want and collect but I think really often we see a lot of horses that start off maybe a little too collected, or like you said, a little crooked, or just not thinking forward, and then that causes more and more and more problems, right? Because then the rider has to give the rein and drive forward or this or that. Whereas if you're starting from a place of energy, you can easily collect that, and that was good. He talked about that, developing flying changes from, having a good sharp canter transition, that a flying change is, and I've heard this before, the flying change is just a transition within the canter to another lead. And so if you don't have a good walk to canter or a good trot to canter to start with, you're not going to get a good flying change no matter what, because the horse is anxious and like you said, might be thinking passage or whatever, and then just not going to give you that quality. So I mean, there were so many great things that we saw demonstrated with the riders that I wish I had bought the video or whatever, right?
Me too. I thought I gotta go back and I'm like, this is one of the symposiums. Like his commitment to the correct basics, I thought was just terrific. And that applies to every kind of horse, any kind of mover, any kind of anything, that it's like, canter, trot, canter every time on a circle, help swing the horse's back. And that was like one of the things like he always went to just make sure that just the horse is loose and it's in front of your leg. But he never chased any of the horses around, which I also love, because that's a little bit something that I find a lot of my students kind of misinterpret of like, forward needs to be fast. And it's like, no, forward needs to be, energetic and full of volume and full of impulsion, which has nothing to do with speed, and I like that a lot too, that he talked so much about activity and what he was very clear about what he wanted. And it was never like gallop that horse down the long side. It was really within the gate or between, the real element of why would you do canter trot, or why is it important that the walk canter is so good? I really love
forward
that.
in a moment, right? Forward at the right time was really what we need, right? Because, like you said, you can get a horse to gallop down the long side, but is he going to learn that was about the movement on the other end of the ring that you tried to do? I don't know. So,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I really felt like it was like such a high level, yet all of it was basics, which I just really appreciated so much.
Right. I think that was what we all kind of thought was like, oh, wow, we need to go home and really watch the basics. That was a huge takeaway from the whole couple days. And we had talked about it also with Aiden. She was on the show as well and talking about, if he said center line, he meant center line. If he said 20 meters, he meant 20 meters.
Yeah, ride the lines for sure.
Ride the lines, ride the transitions. Those were all very, very important.
Yeah, and it was cool because I always tell my riders too, I'm like, why not just be great? Like, why not just do it great the first time? Like if it's, and I loved it in one of Aiden's lessons, he was like, no, 5 3-time tempies. You make the third one exactly at X, and I just love that because I, keep that standard with my students too. And it was fun to have someone at that level where it's never not that. It's never not about exactness and control of the movement, and to be really, just due diligence of like every day. Why not just practice excellence? I thought he, in a really non-stressful way, really brought that to everyone's attention of like, no, like that's not the center line. Like the near doesn't count. Like it's either on the center line or it's not on the center line. And like, why not just do it great? And I just, I love that it was like a non-stressful thing of like, get on the center line. It's like no one's shouting and it's not like crazy.
No, you just
do it again.
No, you just like need to do it. You need to do it.
Again.
Do it well.
Yep.
Period. Just do it well. Nope, that's not it. Do it well. And I love that. That was perfect.
And he stood there, and I think a couple riders did center lines 5 times, and these were all top riders, 5 times center lines. Nope. And it was like,
that's not it.
Yeah, so it was a great reminder. Yeah, circle again, do it again. So it was a really, really great reminder. Well, JJ, thank you so much for your insight and your just telling us how the Trainers Conference went this week. If our listeners wanted to find you online, how do they do that?
They can either join my fan page of Team Tate Dressage on Facebook, or they can visit my website, www.team-tatedressage.com. And I'd love to hear from anybody and answer any questions anybody has.
Fantastic. Thanks, JJ.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Welcome to bedinabox.com, where you'll find the most comfortable, pressure-relieving memory foam mattress at only 1/3 the cost of the leading brands. We have created an exclusive memory foam that sleeps cooler, rebounds quicker, and cradles your body in pain-relieving comfort better than other types of memory foams. Introducing our new memory foam technology. By swirl infusing gel into our advanced memory foam, we have created an even cooler, more comfortable sleeping surface. Best of all, it's made right here in the USA.
He had been dealing with back pain and chiropractor visits for a while, so we decided it was probably time to find a new mattress.
So we started doing some research on memory foam mattresses and found bedinabox.com. We were on a trip with some friends, and they actually had a bed-in-a-box mattress in their camper. And on their recommendation, we decided to get one for ourselves.
They got it to us in no time. We had no problem adjusting, and we were thrilled with the comfort. In fact, my husband doesn't have to get up early anymore due to back pain. He can lie in bed for as long as he likes without any discomfort. We recommend Bed in a Box to anyone who has back problems or just needs a good night's rest.
We believe we have created the world's best memory foam mattress. Using independent, accredited labs, we have tested our mattresses against the industry leaders to ensure comfort and durability. Test results show our mattresses relieve pressure better than the more expensive ones found in retail stores. Buying a mattress over the internet may seem risky. That's why we offer a 120-day zero-risk return policy. You get a full 100% refund if you're not satisfied. No hidden fees and no return shipping charges, and we back them with a 20-year warranty. Sound too good to be true? Don't take our word for it. Read what real customers are writing about us on Facebook, Twitter, Viewpoints.com, and other third-party review sites. We are dedicated to quality and service. We offer fast, free shipping to the contiguous U.S. Your mattress will arrive conveniently packaged and will be ready to sleep on within minutes. With the benefits of the leading brand mattresses, but at 1/3 the cost, why wait? Start getting the best sleep of your life. Call, chat, or email one of our friendly customer care agents to learn why 99% of our customers sleep better and toss and turn less on their new Bed in a Box mattress.
Well, I really enjoyed hearing about the FEI Trainers Conference, the USDF Trainers Conference, and now we're going to hear about another USDF program from Cassandra Hummert-Johnson that happened this week in Wellington. Well, I am so happy to have Cassandra Hummert-Johnson, FEI trainer from Cleveland, Ohio, on the program again. Cassie, how are you?
Hi, Reese. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we love having you back. It's always fantastic. And you did it was quite a busy weekend here in Wellington. A lot of USDF programs going on. And you went to the USDF, USET Graduate Young Writer Program this weekend, right?
Yes, I did. I attended, it was put on by the USDF, and the USDF is at the Embassy Suites in West Palm Beach, and it was a wonderful experience.
Great. Now, is this your first time at the graduate program?
Yes, it is. I knew a few others that have done it in the past years, and this is the first year that I applied and also attended.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about the program. Like what are the criteria? How does one get into this program?
Well, first, the criteria to actually apply, there's three main pieces of that. It's open to riders between the ages of 20 and 28. You have to be a USDF member. And they ask that you're riding at third level or above. And luckily, I've met all those criteria either now or in the past. So that was the first step. The application process is fairly simple. It's just a form that you fill out, sort of stating your riding history and a couple questions, and you send that on through email to the USDF, and they contact you later to tell you whether or not they would like to invite you out to West Palm to attend the conference.
Excellent. And how many people came to this year's conference?
There were about 30 participants this year.
Oh, that's fantastic. And this program's mainly geared to people that are going on to be professionals in the industry, right?
Right. There were some riders that were maybe still in the program, but, it starts at the age 20. So a few of these riders were doing the young riders still, but most of them were either just becoming professionals or they're already established and they're coming for some more knowledge.
Yeah. So what were some of the things that was discussed at the conference?
Well, it was over 2 days. It was a Saturday, Sunday. So each day they had a list of unique presenters. It wasn't the same each day. And the first day was jam-packed full of different people that were really talking to us about things in the horse industry that, I don't usually get to hear every day.
So Cassie, tell us, who were the presenters on Saturday?
So on Saturday, we had a very interesting group of presenters. The morning was mostly talking about sponsorship and horse syndication and ownership and part ownership and funding and supporting our riders. So a lot of information. We had Alan Mann from Adequan, Kim Boyer from Hampton Green Farm, and Rebecca Hart, who is a para rider and has represented the United States many times. And they all talked about some different form of sponsorship in the dressage industry. And it was very interesting learning from them, because not only are they involved either from the giving end. We heard from Rebecca Hart, who rides syndicated horses, and both of those were very interesting topics for me, because it's not something I often hear about in my everyday going about in the dressage world.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, syndication, and it's tricky. On each one is a little bit different, and hearing the more and more you can about different horses and how they work, that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about what happened on Sunday.
So we also had some different presenters. Obviously, the sponsorship was sort of a big topic, because that's who the conference was focusing on, was young professionals and how to get a big horse and how to get in the ring. But on Sunday we had some different people talking about different things in the horse industry. The most interesting to me personally, although everyone is very interesting, was sort of the legal side of this industry. And we had a very good attorney from Chicago come. Her name was Yvonne, and she gave us just good advice on how to run a business with good liability policies and good insurance, and how to protect yourself, because we unfortunately are an industry where the risk is very high. And she had some great examples and very interesting lawsuits that she's been involved in, and it really was a reality check for a lot of us young professionals on how to be really conscientious of that part of the business.
No, I think that's so right, and I think that's a good reminder for all of us that there are some legal issues with the horse industry for sure.
Yeah, I think we can all be a little naive about these things. Whether it's the liability about protecting people, protecting yourself, and protecting people who you're teaching and who's running, but also in the business end of it about legal documents that you should have. Selling horses, buying horses. Going along with the sponsorship thing, you want to protect yourself. So there's all kinds of legal things. I'm sure that could be a presentation over weeks and weeks.
Exactly, but that was very interesting to me. And then in the afternoon on Sunday, we had a different group of presenters. They were riders that we know and see, and who run their businesses here in the United States and in all different forms, whether it be sales or competing. And we had Lendon Gray and Toonie Page talk about different opportunities here in the United States for education, and then opportunities in Europe for education, which for myself and a lot of riders, it was wonderful to hear firsthand some of those experiences and some really good advice, because going to Europe is an intimidating experience, and to hear from a U.S. rider and competitor tell us a little bit about what to expect and how to get the best experience out of that was very interesting. And then after them, we had Endel and Catherine Bateson talk about their careers, which are very different, and how they got to the place that they are now. And all of those presenters were very inspiring and full of information. And to have them all in one room in the span of 3 hours was just so super. It was super.
That's fantastic. So Cassie, is the young adult program every year, or is it every other year?
Yes, it is offered every year. It is there's opportunities available through the Dressage Foundation for grants to attend. It's also a good idea for people interested to contact their GMO. I was lucky enough, and I thank the Northern Ohio Dressage Association for providing funding to allow me to attend. But it's available. As long as you meet the criteria, it's available every year. And it's held here in West Palm Beach.
Fantastic. Well, Cassie, how can our listeners find you online?
I can be found online either at www.lavendeldressage.com, or there is a business Facebook page at the same name, Lavendel Dressage LLC.
Well, we're going to get to our total saddle fit tip of the week right after I'm going to check in with Reese about her total saddle fit girths and what's been going on with her horses lately.
Yeah, well, we actually used it today. It was fantastic. You worked
I
with
just
my
switched on a
assistant.
different horse today.
Yeah, we switched, and Philip worked with my assistant Ashley today. It was great because all I heard was, Reese, can I borrow your total saddle fit girth and a shoulder relief girth? And I said, sure. They needed it for a different horse. They switched the girth because it was just a better fit on that horse. And so, we use them all the time, and I love them because we use them on sort of a little bit more round horses, and we have other, skinnier horses, and just really fits everybody. And I'd like to say that we try to take the best care of our tack as we can, but they get worked here.
You put through the ringer, as it were.
Yeah,
right? It's a tough girth, and
it is.
You can use it on a bunch of horses, and the same at home. We clean everything, but I haven't had any. It doesn't look worn or old. How long have we been using this product? It's been
a while.
Yeah, it has to be a couple of years.
Horses every day. Yeah,
it's pretty good. We're good testers.
What can you explain to everybody who don't know what exactly it does? Why is it better than any older girth? Because of the design, it's curved.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's curved so that there's more room for the horse to move their shoulders, and it doesn't pinch, which is really the issue. And also, the quality of leather work is fantastic, which is one of the things we love, and the price point. Some of these girths are $400 or $500, and that's a lot. And this girth is not. It's low hundreds, so it's a very good price for the girth. So
it takes the pressure. It takes the pressure off, sort of the belly of the horse, and puts it more towards the chest, where I think the horse is a little bit more comfortable, and the saddles seem to sit better, more in the right place, and they call it shoulder relief because when the saddle's in the right place, the shoulder has more, can move a little better and not getting jammed up by the saddle. I think it's been great.
And for
the horse we used it on today for it, really helped relieve the shoulder, which is exactly what we needed to do to work on some piaffe passage work. So, fantastic day today with that.
And if you're into Western dressage, and we know we have some of those listening now too, they have a shoulder relief cinch that actually does the same thing. So,
oh, cool!
Yep.
I'm going to talk to Justin about this.
Yeah, they have a shoulder relief cinch now, and
just came out with it.
Because actually the Western saddles have this problem actually a little bit more, I think, even than the English dressage saddles. So the cinch really does the same thing, only on the Western saddle.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yep.
And the other thing that we love about Total Saddle Fit is Justin, the owner of Total Saddle Fit, is great to talk to, and he will answer any questions that you have and about the girth or any saddle fit issues.
Saddle fit, I know that people have sent him photos, and you can just contact them through their website, totalsaddlefit.com.
Sounds good. Let's get to our tip with JG Tate. This tip brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, the shoulder relief girth that Reese and Philip both love. And here's why.
The saddle fit solution you have been waiting for is finally here. TotalSaddleFit.com is proud to introduce the Shoulder Relief Girth. This strategically shaped girth actually moves the girth line of your saddle back over 1 inch, thereby freeing your horse's shoulders from the saddle. Traditional girths pull saddles up against a horse's shoulders and often over the top of the shoulders. The shoulder relief girth's recessed ends allow for the billets to buckle into the girth farther back to give your horse unparalleled freedom of motion. We are so certain that your saddle will fit better and your horse will be more comfortable that for a limited time we are offering a 30-day, 110% money-back guarantee. If you are not totally satisfied with your shoulder relief girth, send it back for a full refund plus 10% of the purchase price. Don't wait. Order now for the best saddle fit solution available.
At TotalSaddleFit.com. Visit TotalSaddleFit.com.
Well, we have JJ Tate back for our Total Saddle Fit Tip of the Week, Trainer Tip of the Week. JJ, thanks for staying on the show.
Thank you so much again for having me and asking me to participate.
Yeah, no, as always, we love having you. So what's your tip of the week for our listeners?
Well, like we said, keeping it with the theme of riding in clinics, I thought it would be a great idea to give my tip on how to have a successful clinic experience. And a couple of the things that really work for me is to, number one, always allow a lot of time to load the horse and get there in a time that won't make you nervous. Like, I don't really get very nervous, but the one thing that will kind of unsettle me is not having enough time. So I think, it's always, of course, that day that your horse decides, like, they maybe don't want to go on the trailer or something, you can't find something, or. So I always say, like, give an extra half an hour. You don't know about traffic, whatever. So I think first and foremost, you can control what time you arrive. And I think that's a big thing. Number two, I think it's also really important that you stick to your normal warm-up. I think you're the rider, and if you ride the horse, you are also the trainer. So I think it's important to also give that horse his best experience and give the trainer you're working with the best idea of the horse and to give the best impression. You should really focus on what warm-up works for you. And I would get there early enough that you can incorporate, if you need to ride the horse long and low, if you need to do a little 2-point canter, if you need to walk for 20 minutes, whatever it is, I think it's important that you own that and you create that same situation when you go off property and ride a horse for a clinic or a lesson. That you set the horse up for success as much as you can. I definitely think you should always have extra equipment in the trailer just in case something breaks. But I do think, also being upfront with your new trainer or clinician. And I always tell my students the number one rule is that you should always go watch the clinician before you ride with the clinician, just so you have a sense
great
of,
one. Yes,
that the whole thing is going to connect with your system. It's great to get outside influence, and I encourage all my riders to go ride with other people. I usually go with them and watch, and as long as it's all under kind of the same umbrella, I think that's really important that you also decide before you take the horse there that it is under the same umbrella of training that you're doing, and that it's not going to be detrimental to the horse's health or mentality or training level, that you can really, have that kind of camaraderie within the system. Otherwise, it becomes kind of random events and like, I rode with this person and they told me to ride really forward with the pole up. And then I went the next week and I rode with that person and they told me to stretch the horse only down, and then unless you have a really deep sense of what this horse needs, you can make an educated decision of like what you want to keep. But I do think it's important to always go watch the clinician before you commit, just so you know what you're up for, what's going to probably happen. And again, be really upfront with the clinician of like, this is what my horse is great at. This is what my horse's weaknesses. This is what I would like to work on. But then also, I have a lot of people who come to ride with me in clinics and are like, I'd really like to work on the fine changes. And I'm like, you need to learn how to sit in the saddle, and sit on the horse correctly. So we're going to start there.
Learn to canter.
And you're probably going to be mad, but it's again, just like the clinic with Johanneman, it always comes down to basics and correctness. So I think it's important to tell the clinician, what you've been working on and how you've been approaching it. And, if your horse needs a break, I think you also need to be honest with the trainer to say, hey, he's not super fit right now. I think just being upfront is just really helpful to everyone. And first and foremost, it's the best thing for the horse.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think that that's so important because, again, you are always your horse's advocate. And I've seen it before where, the clinician's trying to get something through and maybe they just push it too far for the horse or the horse gets hurt or, something like that. So at the end of the day, you are the advocate. But I just loved how you said, do your homework before you go to the clinician. It's really... That's so important to do that. Don't go to someone. Philip has a great story about, and Phil, you can tell it, but basically about people that weren't prepared about going to a clinic that was going to have cavalettis in it. and they didn't know it. And so they were going to have to jump, but they weren't ready. So I think that's
clinicians and teachers, we all have sort of a theme and some go-to exercises. If you can approach those a little bit before you actually go to the person, you're going to get a lot more out of it,
Absolutely.
But if they have to teach you a pattern and then you're supposed to work on it, you're going to use up your 45 minutes or whatever really fast. And you're going to get not as much as you...
Totally. Oh my God, I agree. One of my students, she's going to ride with Charles DeComfy, my long-term mentor. He's coming this week. And so, a couple days ago, she asked me, hey, do you have an extra book? I'd really love to read about his philosophy. And because she's new to our team, so of course she's new to Charles. And so she, borrows a book from me, one of the, 5 or 7 that he's written. And, she's going to do her homework, read about it, so that these new terms aren't like brand new information that she's never heard about. She can't go see a clinic before she's going to ride in it, but she knows because he's my mentor for so long that, of course, it's highly recommended and it's in our circle of training. But she went even a step further and borrowed a book from me to say, hey, I just want to get familiar with some of his patterns, what he's about, just so that, again, she doesn't waste her money, she doesn't waste her time, she doesn't waste her horse's sweat, having to repeat the thing so many times.
Oh, I think that's beautiful.
Preparation.
Yes, that's preparation.
There's so
that's
much
great.
stuff on YouTube and stuff to watch, or it's
exactly.
out there,
There's
right?
so much information. Exactly. It's such a different time. Everything's on the internet. You can find out all kinds of things.
No, it's true. Well, and kudos to that student for doing, and she will get her money's worth because she'll know what she's sort of going to do and what's going to happen. So, and you'll, as her trainer, you'll be there as well. And I think that's just one other point I wanted to bring up really fast. I love that you said, if my student's going to go to a clinic, I'm going to try to be there. And I think that's so true. If your student's working with someone else, to be there and to watch, and it just as an instructor, it's a great thing because you can kind of step back, watch, get even new ideas or whatever it is, or, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that with that horse. So I think that was a great tip as well. Well, JJ, thank you so much. You are a busy lady. You've got a lecture going on at your barn right now, and you jumped on the phone with us. So thank you so much. And how do our listeners find you online?
They can either friend me on my Facebook page at Team Tate Dressage, or they can visit our new website, www.team-tatedressage.com. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Well, guys, before we wrap up the show, I just wanted to mention that it is the year of the listener. So over on the Stable Scoop show, we are highlighting a different listener every week. So if you want to take a listen to the stories behind your fellow listeners, and there's been some fun ones, you can head on over to stablescoop.com. And we want to remind everybody, too, that we're officially announcing this week 2 things, special things that are coming up, 3 special things that are coming up on the Horse Radio Network. One is that we're going to be doing the first ever live play-by-play coverage of the finals of Road to the Horse. So that is coming up. You can find all the details at roadtothehorse.com, but we'll be on for 4 hours on the final day, giving you radio play-by-play. It's the only way you can hear what's going on in the finals of Road to the Horse is through our show. So that's kind of neat. They've invited us to do that. I'm doing that with Mary Kitzmiller, who was a previous competitor of Road to the Horse. So that's going to be fun. I am there for entertainment only. I don't know a damn thing about training horses. So I'm just there I will be commenting on, the side stuff. I'll be color.
You're the color commentary.
That's right.
Pretty cool.
Mary, we rely on for actual information. And then we're going to be at Rolex this year as well. We're going to be doing Horses in the Morning, a couple of live shows from Rolex this year. So we have that coming up. Plus, I wanted to mention, and Reese is involved with this, we have confirmed now that, and we'll be getting the dates to you in the future episodes here, we have confirmed that we are going to be helping the Brook, with the Brook nonprofit agency who helps animals, especially horses and other equids in the third world, help them care for their animals better, working animals in the third world and other countries around the world. We are going to be helping them with a fundraiser, and we're going to be doing an evening with the Brook. So there's going to be some very special guests that are lining up for that, and it'll be a 2-hour live event. So we're going to be giving you more details. And I think a certain Reese Koffler Stanfield is going to be required to show up.
No problem. It's a great organization. I'm happy to do anything I can.
Yep, and that's coming up. We'll let you know about that. That's going to be in March. So we have a lot of special things coming up on the Horse Radio Network.
Love it. Well, as always, you can send us your email and Facebook shout-outs. We love questions, and I'm in the perfect location to find any guest that's pretty much needed in the dressage world. They're down here, so be happy to help in any way we can. You can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website, dressageradio.com. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and as always, you can reach me on my email, reese@horseradionetwork.com.
You can find me at philipparksequestrian.com, and my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a show, and don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we'll talk to you next week.